Leslie Miller, ABC 7 Eyewitness News. Ellen, back to you.
Leslie, thank you. An Austrian court cleared the way today for an LA woman to reclaim family-owned art that was seized by the Nazis. The 5 paintings by Gustav Klimt include a portrait of her aunt. Eyewitness News reporter Carlos Granda has a look at her fight to get the family treasures back. Carlos?
Well, Ellen, this is a story that dates back 70 years, a story of family portraits that have become treasured works of art worth $150 million. They were taken away, seized by the Nazis during World War II, and now the family can get them back. Maria Altmann is surrounded by her family as she holds a copy of Adele by Gustav Klimt. The subject in the painting is her Aunt Adele, and Altmann is the rightful heir to the original.
I had always hoped that justice will find its way, and it did.
Altmann has been involved in a legal struggle since 1998 over who owns several of Klimt's paintings. Her family lived in Austria, and the art was seized by the Nazis when they took over in 1938. She never thought she'd see these paintings again.
They have been away from me for so many years. I was a very young girl when I left them the last time, but I saw them in the house of my uncle, and ever since then they were buried in salt mines during the war.
Altmann's attorney says Austria has a law that requires museums to check all their works of art to see if they include items seized by the Nazis.
Under the Austrian law, these paintings had to be returned, and the problem was that the Austrians weren't following their own law.
And that's because Austria was reluctant to give up these paintings. It considers them part of its national treasure and Klimt an Austrian icon. The attorneys were able to prove the paintings belonged to her family.
Amazingly, there were thousands and thousands of pages of documents relating to Maria's uncle, who was the original owner of the painting. He was a very wealthy sugar magnate, and there's just reams and reams of documentation that survived the war.
Mrs. Altmann is happy the way things turned out, but she says even though the paintings belong to her family once again, she feels they also belong to the world.
Even if we get them returned, I'm talking landscapes, I want museums to have them, and not so that people can see them and not in private places.
And Altmann says this could set a precedent as others try to get back artwork that was seized by the Nazis. Their attorney says that they are artworks scattered throughout Europe, throughout museums and private collections, and they could be worth as much as $1 billion. I'm Carlos Granda, ABC 7 Eyewitness News. David, back to you.
Carlos, thank you. The first
Number 2, 790.